All right, sounds good.
So today we are catching up with Angie. Oh gosh, it's Bardon now, but it was Angie Miller, right?
Yes.
Yes, I mean, time flies. Angie was in my first group of students at Marion High School, so I'm very excited to catch up with her and see how she's doing. And so, thank you, Angie, for being with us today.
You're welcome. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah. So, what were some of the things that you were involved in when you were in high school?
Well, it was a few years ago. So I did graduate in 2005. As you said, I was one of your first students. So I did play volleyball for 3 years. So freshman through junior year. I actually quit my senior year to start the tennis team. So I think you've talked to a couple people and they were
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, I played tennis." Yep, that I helped start that team. I was in FBLA. We were one of your first groups.
Yes.
I, I was trying to even think where we went. Maybe it was John A.
Decatur.
Logan.
Oh, the John A. Business Competition. Yeah.
Yeah, that was our first step. And there was a group of us going, "What are we doing?" And
And then we went to SIU for Southern Area, and then I don't know, did we go to Decatur to state your year?
I I
That would
can't
have.
remember.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think so.
I don't think I even was involved that heavily in FBLA that year. Like I think Miss Eisenhower and Miss Spiller would have been the ones.
Wow, you remember those names, and I would not have.
Time
Um,
flies, it does. So yeah, so all right, from graduation, Angie was an exceptional student, by the way. She's a very, very,
oh,
very good student, very intelligent. And I remember you talked about being an actuary. That was one of your career interests. I don't know why I remember that, but I do. Probably because there aren't a lot of kids in high school that say like, I want to be an actuary, or I'm interested in it. So just talk about your career path, if you wouldn't mind, from graduation from Marion High School on.
just a funny thing about the actuarial thing. So I did not go into actuarial math because I got nervous about the limitations of where I could live. But I ended up marrying someone who got a degree in actuarial math.
There you go.
So I was destined to be some connection to it. So yeah, I graduated and I ended up going to, well, I got my scholarships from Southwest Missouri State,
Mhm.
which I was there for, we were there 2 weeks and they changed their name to Missouri State.
Yes.
Most people know about it because, we do compete against SIU.
Yes.
I got my undergrad in finance with a concentration in e-business or a minor in e-business. So I graduated in 2009, which was probably one of the worst times to graduate, unless you're graduating this year. I'm sure those kids are having more difficulties than we did. Um, I ended up getting a contract job with Wells Fargo in St. Louis. Um, it wasn't that stellar. And then they offered me a full time job. I came home. I was living with my fiance at the time and his parents. So everyone's dream come true. And I told him, I was like, "Yay, I got a full time job." And he goes, "That's great. I also got offered a full time job today, and we're moving to North Carolina." So we moved to North Carolina because it was the job he wanted. It was in insurance. He was an actuarial math. Mine was just a job. I actually got a job there, then working at Queen's University in financial aid.
Oh, okay.
So completely just different, but it was something for a while. Then I got hired on at Maersk Line, the container shipping company.
Okay.
And so there I was a financial business partner. So it was the business came to us, asked us any questions. We had to figure out how to put the financials together to answer their questions. Ended up concentrating on the US military shipments to the Middle East,
Oh,
which
wow.
was very interesting. And I was the only female. I actually got allowed in some meetings. We had a meeting in Pakistan and I wasn't allowed to go. So,
Wow.
but I learned a lot. It was great. And then my husband's company actually decided to move us to St. Louis since that's where he was from. So, did the whole, all right, I'll quit my job, move back. I actually got on with Anheuser-Busch
Okay.
when we moved back. So, it was a great career move. I was working on setting budgets for beer production.
Mhm.
And everybody knows AB is huge. So it was a big big task, working on that and knowing beer formulas and everything. Um, then I went on vacation and I came back, and the next day got told my job was being shipped to India.
Oh, wow.
So
Outsourcing.
yeah, so it was I sat there for about 4 hours, and then they go, okay, but we have another job to offer you. But it was kind of like the writings on the wall. How long is this going to last? It was kind of their model, get things standardized, then ship them off. So then I got hired by Monsanto.
Okay.
So work in the vegetable seeds business. I am currently the business process owner of customer care and obsolescence. Um,
What does that mean?
so customer care, so vegetables is a global business. So we have teams in countries all around the world. So I work with our customer service teams to make sure that they are standardized, any laws change, that we're updating our systems. And then the second part of it is on the finance side. So I do all kinds of forecasting and review for obsolete seed. So seed we want to throw away because it's bad quality, there's no market, something like that. Actually, between the week of that I quit AB and I started at Monsanto, they finalized their deal to be purchased by Bayer.
Okay.
So technically, I work for Bayer now.
Gotcha. So how long
We
have you
are going,
been in this position? How long
um, so
later?
about 3 years.
Okay.
And it's interesting because now we're transitioning because Bayer bought us. They have their own structure. They're changing everything. So right now, I'm a BPO. In about a month, I probably won't be. So been kind of waiting, finding out new job titles, if I have to interview for my job, all that kind of stuff. But
So you have seen lots of transitions
mhm.
over the last 15 years.
Wow, 15 years. Yes. um, yeah, I actually, even when I worked at Maersk Line, they decided to send half my job to India. So I went to India for 2 weeks to train my job away. So
Oh, that's brutal.
it was really fun, actually.
Oh, really?
It was I think because I was in a different position because it was only part of my job. So I knew I still had a job.
Got you. Got you.
So,
So, the job that you're in now, do you travel much with that job, or do you primarily stay in the St. Louis area for what you do?
well, it's kind of hard right now. So I was traveling some to Europe. There was plans to travel quite a bit because right now my focus is SAP integration. So redesigning our SAP systems. Um, with that, there is expected to be more travel. We're going to South America next, but I don't know with the virus, if we'll be allowed. So this lovely headset that I'm wearing, I have this because I am on the phone, some days 6 to 8 hours a day because I don't work with anybody in St. Louis.
Got you. Wow. Yeah. So if you weren't in, this quarantine situation that we're all in right now, what is the day to day like? Like, what's a day in the life like typically for you?
So even if I was in the office, I would still be on the phone 6 to 8 hours a day. We have IT teams in India that I work with. Our actual teams are spread out throughout the globe. We don't have any customer service team in St. Louis. And then our headquarters is now in Germany. So when we're working on processes, we're connecting between Germany, India, and then whatever region we're working on. So I'm still at my desk on the phone,
So,
mapping out processes.
so communication is a big part of your normal day. And by processes, for my students and for me, what do you mean by your working out processes?
So really, how are we going to do our day-to-day job? So being on customer service, we're really focused on when our customer calls us, how are we recording those interactions? And then once we have a request for an order, how are we going to process that sales order and all the steps we have to take to get it out the door to the customer and meet their expectations?
Got you. So you work with IT a lot because they are designing and maintaining the platform where a lot of
Mhm.
that happens, right? So customers order
Yes.
online, or they may have a question and they go through some kind of online system to get answers.
We're actually pretty archaic and we don't have any online. It's
Oh,
all emailing or calling our customer service
oh,
center.
okay. Wow. Well, but I think there's a certain amount of value in that though. Like I think people like to be able to hear a voice and, so okay. Well, interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
So what skills do you think are the most valuable for someone in your profession?
Well, I think for now, like with everything, it's being willing to accept change. Um, you know, being purchased, just the times changing, everybody trying to adapt to this virus situation, um, accepting the change. Because I know I've had some coworkers that aren't good at that, and they've really struggled being positive, being able to complete their job, but then also just thinking outside the box and accepting a new company's way of working.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Flexibility is important for sure. Um, so if you think about when you were a junior or senior in high school, or if you were speaking to my class today, what advice would you give to them? What do you think? What are some things that are important for them to know or to think about as they start looking at career paths?
Um, so I guess like two kind of really come to mind. The first is really along the change thing also. You may have the best laid plan, but things are going to change. So you got to be flexible to go with that. Never in never in my career path did I ever think I would be training my job not once but twice to people in India. So you gotta roll with it. But then with that, you gotta know your priorities. Um, as we're going through this change now, and I've been talking to my boss about what position I do want that's in the new Bayer organization. It's really about priorities, making sure I have that work-life balance. I do have a 4-year-old son, so I have to make sure that I can take care of him, especially since he can't go to school or anything. So just know what those priorities are so that when opportunities and decisions come up, you know what's most important to you so you can make the right decision.
I think that's very good advice. And someone earlier today that I was talking to mentioned, it's okay to be assertive about what your expectations are or what you're looking for, because sometimes if you don't express them, people don't realize that that's what you're looking for.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I agree. So, yeah, I have enjoyed catching up with you. I had no idea that your career had taken so many twists and turns. The last time we talked was Wells Fargo. I'm pretty sure. Like I knew you were at Wells Fargo, and so and actually, um, Angie, I'm pretty sure was one of the first people that told me about Facebook back in the day. I'm pretty sure she came back for like a visit, and she was like, Miss Hudgens, there's this new thing. No one's using MySpace. Everyone's moving to Facebook, but you have to have like a college email address. At that time, it's so funny to see just how things evolve. But
And I do love that you just called out MySpace because how many people listening to this even know what MySpace
I
is?
I think some of the kids know about it only because they've heard their parents. But the other thing is I do share these, and so like parents are seeing them too. So
Okay.
they'll be or people your age will remember what MySpace is too, and all the pretty wallpapers you could get and different things.
And the music you
Yeah,
put on the background.
it's a to the Zoom backgrounds that we can do now. I don't have one, but you can do all the cool virtual backgrounds too while you're zooming. So I mean, it's I guess kind of the same thing. So
Yeah.
anyway, well, it's neat to know that you're so much closer now. You're in St. Louis, so if you make a trip back through Southern Illinois, let me know. I would love to get you in here to talk to my students once we all get back face to face and can do some more of those interactions. But thank you so much for taking time to share with my kids.
Oh, you're welcome. And it was great catching up. And yeah, I'll be in touch when I make it that way.
Good deal. Thank you.
All right. You have a good day.
You too.